and Canelo Smith Saturday, AT&T Stadium. And there he is, Liverpool's own Liam Beefy Smith making his way. I haven't seen that brand since the French Open in the late 80s.
Elise.
Is that how you said it?
That's the way I said it.
It sounds good to me, Elise. That was a, where's Boris Becker when you need him right now? Liverpool's own 23-0-1, 13 KOs, fighting in the United States for the first time in his career, going across the pond, Liam Beefy Smith, who holds a belt in the 160-pound division, or 154-pound division. We've talked to so many middleweights getting that mixed up. There you see in the last fight. That was actually against Robert Talarek in early 2015. And Smith, there you see in the white trunks, has 13 KOs, comes from a fighting family. Brothers Paul, Stephen, and Callum Smith, highly touted amateur. Won all the belts you can think of in England.
And Beto, you mentioned this first fight stateside, and I think that is a variable. We've seen a lot of fighters here in the past, Doug, no matter how good they are. I've always thought that that's interesting when for the first time in your career, especially in the biggest fight that you've had, you're the road fighter in a foreign continent or foreign environment. It can make a difference in a fight.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen to fighters from overseas that are more experienced and were held in a higher regard than Liam Smith. I remember there was a really good Japanese fighter, a junior featherweight champ, Nishioka, I believe, who came, and the first time he fought in the United States against Nonito Donaire, wasn't quite himself.
Scott Quigg on the also walking in with Liam Smith. There you see Bernardo Osuna and the rest of the media surrounding the ring. Smith, saw him walking around the resort yesterday. Very calm, cool with his team. Very approachable lad. Fans were coming up to him and taking pictures with him.
You know, even though this is his first official fight in the States, he's had a bit of a history out here in America. Him and Joe Gallagher and the rest of that camp has visited the Wild Card Boxing Club.
Oh, they have.
And actually did a tour of all the gyms in Southern California getting sparring. So from that perspective, he's dipped his toe into the water. He's been in there with good fighters, and he comes from a fighting family. But I do wonder, though, Saturday night when there's 40,000 plus, big lights, and you're not just in an arena, you are on in an incredible stage, this huge stadium. Again, I've seen fighters, good ones, freeze at the moment.
Sure. Yeah, no, it happens.
Expecting 40,000 on Saturday at AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, who are on the road, because Saturday night will be the third professional boxing match inside that stadium. Liam Smith, Liverpool, England, born July 28th, 1988, turned pro in 2008. And one thing that, just reading the British papers, Smith was going over and over and over this weekend because of Kell Brook going up 2 classes of weight to take on Triple G. He said, no, I'm taking on Canelo in my weight. Most of his career has been at 154. There was a couple where he was 158 early on, but it's been 153, 153, 154 the last couple. He said, I have an advantage because I make this weight easy.
Again, I go back to that stat. If you look at Canelo Alvarez from a technical standpoint, even though he may have been a middleweight, honestly, it was really trying to be junior middleweight +1. Four of his last 5 fights were at 155. The last time he was a legitimate junior middleweight was September of 2013 against Floyd Mayweather. Now, we go through this a lot, Doug, and I'm sure you get a lot of emails. People always say, it's just 1 pound. People, it's just 1 pound when you have about 17, 18% body fat like the normal human being. With these professional athletes, as finely tuned as they are, and with the way they stretch and cut weight, those last pounds are the toughest.
Absolutely. They're already at their limit, and it doesn't matter if it's 1 pound or 1 ounce. If you pass that threshold, it's the difference from being on weight and being sick, physically ill, and you can hurt yourself trying to make a weight that your body is just no longer able to make.
You can't lose something you don't have.
Right.
You can't spit out water which is not in your body.
That's a good way to put it.
What's that old saying? You can't suck blood from a stone.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see. Every hotel has a sauna. They have a fitness center, and you always get a harbinger of which fighters are going to have problems during weigh-in because we're there all the time. We use those same facilities. Guys that are in the plastics, guys that are working late at night, and guys that use the sauna, those guys usually a little bit of a red flag to them.
Yeah, they're drying out.
And the Gaylord Texan Resort has a very nice sauna. I didn't see Smith wasn't in there yesterday, but it's I used
Luxury
it.
sauna.
Oh, they give you a robe, you get slippers. They take care of you, baby. They take care of you. And you mentioned Canelo, Steve, when he fought Mayweather, he fought that one at 152.
Right.
But that was in 2013. 4 of his last 5 fights have been at 155 for Canelo. Kirkland, he was at 154, and he looked great when he stopped Kirkland in the 3rd round.
I'll say this. You bring up Kirkland, a very aggressive fighter. I think Liam Smith is the best technical aggressive fighter that Canelo has faced. I'll say the best aggressive junior middleweight than he's faced. He's been in there with some big, strong junior middleweights like Kirkland, like Alfredo Angulo. They didn't have the fundamentals and the technique that Beefy Smith has.
Is that Smith style? He's aggressive, come at you?
Yes, but he's not reckless. He applies subtle and intelligent pressure, but he does come forward. He works behind a very stiff jab and a high guard, and once he's in range, when he's mid-range or inside, you see the combinations, you see the body punches.
And Steve, when we look at his record, you guys have taught me this working with you the last couple of years. When somebody is undefeated, you have to look at their opponent, the quality. Smith, 23-0. What about the quality of opponents he's taken on?
Quite frankly, it's not all that deep. John Thompson was a bit of a physical nightmare because he's a tall, lanky guy, and his 2 title defenses have been the obligatory 2 soft title defenses to kind of kick off your reign. But with that said, I do think that Smith's experience in the gym at places like Wildcard is going to prove invaluable here. I asked Freddie Roach over the weekend, do you believe that Liam Smith as a legitimate 154 poses a much daunting challenge than Amir Khan at 155? And he says absolutely. He actually thinks Liam Smith could actually pull the upset this weekend, Freddie Roach.
The pay-per-view Saturday, goldenboyppv.com or goldenboypayperview.com. If you're a cord cutter and you don't want to watch it on your TV, boom, there it is. Get it on your computer. Online pay-per-view brought to you by Golden Boy Media and Entertainment Department, and you will be able to watch Canelo and Liam Smith. Phone, tablet, whatever it is you use to check out these fights. Gabriel Rosado, Willie Monroe Jr., Joseph Diaz Jr., Andrew Cancio, and Diego De La Hoya, Luis Orlandito Del Valle. That is the pay-per-view portion of the fight, though. At 2:30 Central Time, Cowboy time, you can check out the ringtv.com live stream. That gets going with the British Anthony Yarde, then Alexis Salazar. Then it's Zungri, Zachary Ochoa from Brooklyn, New York. Dallas, Texas' own 18-year-old phenom, and this kid is someone to keep an eye on. Virgil Ortiz. Then from San Antonio, another highly touted Golden Boy fighter, 19-year-old Hector Tanajara Jr. His stablemate Joshua Franco also on the card. And from Brooklyn with Yemen roots, Saddam Ali. All that coming to you from Cowboy Stadium. Yes, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying it, but it just sounds so cool to say Cowboy Stadium, the home of Leon Lett. Not this one, but this is where Dak Prescott is making a name for himself. And we'll be there Saturday all week long. Make sure to go and check out the Golden Boy YouTube page. Behind-the-scenes coverage. There you see a girl right there with the Apple phone. That's Janine. All the information from that phone is on the Snapchat. It's on the YouTube. It's on the Instagram. They are taking care of you right there. Janine Garcia, boom, right there. Look at us zoom in. Smiling because you don't even know you're on TV. Oh, you do know you're on TV. All right, there you go.
Janine knows where the cameras are. Come on.
I don't know who you're pointing me at, but I think there's people down there. Okay, who's the guy in the blue, Steve?
That is Joe Gallagher. That is the trainer.
Ring Magazine's Trainer of the Year for 2015.
And he probably has more big-name fighters out of the UK than any trainer. His other notable clients include Scott Quigg and Anthony Corolla, who September 24th takes on Jorge Linares in what is a very, very highly anticipated lightweight battle.
Yeah, that's going to the atmosphere inside Manchester Arena is going to be insane for that fight.
Doug, you talked about the way Liam Smith fights. He is aggressive, but I would call it a measured aggression, because one thing he does do, you talk about the high guard, it's almost like his version of Winky Wright. He does a lot of catch and counter.
Winky Wright?
Yeah, and he kind of waits for you to throw his punches to let his own punches go. I think he's got to understand one thing. He does not have the home canvas advantage here. It's going to be very tough to win close rounds. He's probably not going to outbox Canelo. I think for him to win this fight, he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive, come out of his shell, and not play so much catch and counter this weekend.
I agree 100%. Steve, even on his home soil in his title-winning effort against John Thompson, he was trailing on the scorecards. But it's I call it subtle pressure. A guy that we know very well, a trainer, the trainer of Julian Williams, the bread man.
Stephen Edwards,
he called it psychological pressure because it stresses out his opponents, even as they are maybe outpointing him. But it does eventually catch up to his opponents, because once he is in range, he is destructive. But I agree with you 100%. He's going to have to step up. It can't be psychological pressure alone. It's got to be physical pressure, and his activity is going to have to be higher.
You know, and one thing that I really believe, and I asked this of Dewey Cooper, the trainer of Jesse Vargas, I think when you're in a situation like this, as the decided B-side against the marquee name, you have to go in understanding one thing. There really are no moral victories. That to pull the upset, to shock the world, you have to be a bit of a kamikaze. Just don't be concerned or be satisfied with saying, well, I went the distance. Well, that's a recipe to lose 9 rounds to 3. I think from the very beginning, Joe Gallagher, unlike the Scott Quigg fight against Carl Frampton, he's got to be that jockey that goes to the whip early and often.
Steve Kim's, Doug Fisher, Bethel Duran, led by Will Wright and Panda directing. We're at the Gaylord Hotel and Resort in Dallas, Texas. And Luis, always want me to say your name, Luis, but they don't ever tell me your last name, so I can't give you credit.
Gonzalez.
But I'm pretty sure it's going to be something with starts with the last name of G. So we'll go with that. Luis G. Julio G. I used to listen to him. Of course, it's Luis Gonzalez. I know you do great work at the Dodgers. Everybody on the crack staff with the Ring TV side doing excellent work for you. As I was saying, go to the YouTube page. Everything will live there. If you want to check out past fights of some of the young kids coming up from Velasco or Fantasy Springs, they're on there. And all week long, go to the Golden Boy Facebook page for exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage from Dallas, Texas on the week of Canelo and Smith. Tomorrow, it'll be the arrival of the one and only Canelo Alvarez as he gets here from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. And then it'll also be the undercard arrivals of the younger fighters we mentioned, Zachary Ochoa, Franco Tanahara. That'll be also here at the Media Center. Thursday, from AT&T Stadium, the final press conference. That'll be live at 12 Central Time, 10 L.A., I don't know what time in England, but we'll get you an answer. If Luis Garcia can give me that answer, we'll be all right. But Luis Gonzalez is busy with the other stuff. But Luis Garcia is going to be our timekeeper. We're going to find him. As we're talking for 2 hours nonstop, you eventually get a little delusional, so you keep going.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, we're going here. We're just ramping up, baby. It's fun. There you see Liam Smith, nicknamed Beefy. I asked Cecilia Zuniga, the director of PR for Golden Boy, do you know why this name is Beefy? Like, yeah, because as a kid, he was chunky, and his mom gave him the name. So there it is. Beefy because he was chunky, and they stay with him. How many boxers who they get a nickname when they're little and it just stays with them?
It stays with them,
It just stays
and sometimes
with them.
it makes no sense.
None at all.
Bud Crawford is another example of that. Yeah.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I forgot that story, to be honest with
Exactly.
you.
Well, we'll get there when we have a Bud Crawford on our card. But right now, Liam Smith lacing up. What kind of gloves does he use? Rivals?
That looks like Rivals, yes.
Ah. What's considered the punching glove?
Oh, the punching glove is the Cleto Reyes, and it used to be the horsehair glove, and I'm not even so sure they allow that anymore. A lot of commissions now are cracking down on the type of padding that you have in the glove, and also the distribution of that padding within the glove over the knuckle area.
Right, but a puncher's glove is still a glove that is manufactured in a way that you can make a tighter fist.
That is the voice of Doug Kim. See, I'm putting you guys together.
Yeah.
Doug Fisher, the
Everyone
editor
does that.
of RingTV.com. And, Doug, your mailbags on Fridays and Mondays. The email for that is?
Dougie@boxingmailbag.com.
Because I've noticed you're starting to get more and more overseas people writing to you.
Well, especially now, because right now
They have so many champions.
Yeah, the UK boxing scene is experiencing a renaissance, a golden age, if you will. They have between 12 and 14 major world title holders right now in boxing.
And Steve Kim, longtime boxing scribe. I met him at BaxBoxing.com, where my shirt never arrived. Now you can see him
I
at.
forgot to bring that. I got one for you.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
I do. I swear to God,
Yeah.
I have one. Still in the wrap.
Oh, no,
Doug,
no.
Doug,
Yeah,
That goes
I
this
messed
week.
up. I'm going to bring it. The
Don't.
Belasco show.
Don't you dare
I
bring
am.
that. You send that to Conestoga. Steve Kim, check him out at UCN Live and also Boxing Scene. Your Twitter is?
It's Steve UCN Live, and look at this picture
Is
of
Beefy
Keith
the kid
Smith.
in red? It's got to be.
You better be.
Yeah, he's the kid. Yeah, that's a beefy face.
That is Paul,
Cute as the
Steven,
Dickens.
Callum Smith in there.
Those are the
Smith
fighting
family.
lads.
And also Steve Kim, without a doubt, one of the best boxing podcasts available. That would be the Montoya Factor with Gabe Montoya.
The next round.
The next round. And then on Mondays, the 3 knockdown rule with Mario Lopez. That one I like because it's quick to the point, get straight to it. It seems like you guys don't even have time to tape this.
Literally, Mario Lopez is the Mexican James Brown. He's the hardest working man in show business. You get about 30 minutes to do the show. You better show up on time. You better get started, and then he's got 50 other things to do.
But you guys have great chemistry.
Yeah, it's
we
good.
really do.
I like it when you guys get the callers involved on those other podcasts because no screener I could sell.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
screener. And, it was a great time to take advantage of Steve Kim's news and notes, one of the good features that we have when you're watching our Belasco shows or our Ring TV show from the Fantasy Springs. After Triple G and Kilbrook this weekend, what's been some of the buzz and what's coming up?
Well, the bottom line is that WBA, as promised, Gilberto Mendoza Jr. messaged me right after the fight. We talked about this on the last Belasco show. The WBA is going to mandate that fight. There's a 30-day negotiating period that is now in effect. They have 120 days to make that fight. Danny Jacobs won on Friday against Sergio Mora in Reading, Pennsylvania on Spike TV. And, of course, Golovkin beat Brook in 5 rounds at the O2 Arena. So I really believe if the politics can be worked out, which is no sure thing, I think we have one of the more attractive middleweight features in the world today that could be made.
Yeah, the stage has been set, and that fight could happen in late November, correct?
Yes.
And Steve, also later on in that time we were talking about this, your schedules, you're trying to figure out if you're going Kovalev or Pacquiao.
The bottom line is, guys, I just cannot stand to be away from you guys. And November 4th, we're doing a LA Fight Club again at the Belasco November 4th. So November 19th, Kovalev Ward, here I come. And also, one other thing, I spoke about this earlier, the future schedules. Tom Loeffler did say to me yesterday while still in England, November 26th could be a possible date for Golovkin's return. And as I mentioned earlier, Eric Gomez says that they have a hold for Canelo Alvarez should he win this weekend for the famed Madison Square Garden,
and that
December
would be
10th.
And that would be in the
December,
big garden, right?
Yes, it would be. But there's still an issue, though, with the new edict in New York, which I don't think makes a lot of sense, and it's very prohibitive, where every fighter now has to be covered for like up to $1 million. That has set the premium. Insurance-wise. Now, all of a sudden, the cost of shows, I believe a lot of club shows will go by the wayside, unfortunately. The bigger shows where you have television money coming in, I don't think it'll be quite as effective. Tom Loeffler says to me, we're still going to go to New York once a year with Golovkin. Eric Gomez and the Golden Boy brass says we're going to look into it. Now, they have to find a provider that'll be willing to have an affordable premium, and at that point, I do think some of the bigger shows will still take place in the Big Apple.
You're watching Liam Beefy Smith work the ring, work the gloves right now with his trainer Gallagher. We'll be talking to him in a couple of minutes.
You see the high guard.
Yeah.
That's why Steven brought up Winky Wright. Winky Wright had that real high guard. In fact, Wright would turn his gloves the other way
you
and
can see
actually,
the logo.
actually catch with the palms of his hands. This is a little more of an orthodox high guard, but he stands straight up and keeps the elbows in to protect his rib cage. And that's what he does. He wants to walk you down. You throw a punch, he catches it on his elbow or forearm, and then he fires his.
How big is Gallagher, man? He's tall, isn't he?
It's interesting. Liam Smith actually has some length to him. I don't know what he's listed at, but I think he's at least a couple of inches taller than Canelo Alvarez. And we take a look at the tail of the tape. He's listed at 5'9", and 5'10", while Canelo is 5'9". Doug, going back to the way this fight has to be fought, and again, and Beto, you point out, reach is 72 for Canelo and 69 for Smith, which is surprising. If you're the smaller guy, I could see why maybe you want to counter set traps. You're the bigger, rangier guy, in my opinion, just looking at him. I think Liam needs to come out of his shell a little bit and continue to try to be first from the very, very onset of this fight.
Bethel Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. We are the crew for the LA Fight Club and also at Fantasy Springs in Indio, California. Golden Boy Promotions puts on a very cool event on the first Friday of every single month at the historic Belasco Theater in downtown Los Angeles. It's a great club show. You see the youngsters get there, sell some tickets, make a couple bucks, make a name for themselves, and they graduate. Diego De Loya has fought there. Joseph Diaz Jr. has fought on these shows. And where are they now? They are on pay-per-view. And our next show after the Canelo Smith will be September 30th for the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino in Indio, California. That is where Diego De Loya trains. And you will be able to see Peter Petrov and the artist Michael Angelo Perez in a title eliminator, correct?
And I think that's a very good stylistic fight. I believe the winner of that fight will be in line for the WBO title. And you talk about the graduates. Beto, the guy that was originally scheduled to headline that card is Andrew Concio.
Who is now taking on Joseph Diaz Jr.
These guys do go to the next level if they put in their time with these platforms.
And those fights are available on the Golden Boy YouTube page. And when you look at Liam Smith, Doug, because you get a lot of these letters from the UK, and of course, a country is their fans are always going to support him because for many people, Julio Cesar Chavez has never lost ever,
right,
according to the Mexicans. His son, yeah, but him, no. The British fans are behind Beefy Smith.
Yeah, the British fans are loyal fans. And here's the thing: what I like about British fans is they're also just general boxing fans. They follow boxers from all over the world. They would be considered hardcore boxing fans here in the United States by the closeness which they follow the sport. But they're realistic. If their guy is an underdog, they'll admit it. They're like, listen, he's probably not going to win. I'm still going to be at the arena. I'm still going to cheer for him if the fight takes place, locally in the UK. And occasionally, they're willing to travel with their fighters. Sometimes, a guy like Ricky Hatton.
Well, there's
brings
only
those
one.
fans.
Right?
There's only one Ricky Hatton. But they would bring fans. Lennox Lewis would bring a lot of fans over when with his big fights, his fights against Evander Holyfield at Madison Square Garden and at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. A lot of British fans came out, and they kind of take over the venue. They really get into the fight atmosphere. They often show up to the arena early. They get nice and liquored up. They sing songs. And whether their fighter has a shot or not, they're going to cheer for him. They're going to sing for him as well. They come up with songs. That's kind of like the soccer tradition there. And a lot of times it helps elevate the fighters. It helps spur them on to really kind of fight beyond their means.
You mentioned the soccer tradition. Liam Smith, a big Liverpool fan. Steven Gerrard actually plays for the LA Galaxy because he has a sprained ankle. There might be talk that he will be in attendance on Saturday night, the Liverpool legend. Steve, going back to the fans of the UK, you were talking off air about this. The ratings that Saturday's fight that Brooke put up and Triple G, just over and over, astonishing.
It is. For a Saturday afternoon rating, which is generally lower on premium cable networks, the last fight with Golovkin and Brooke did right under 850,000. Now, this is during college football season. So that is a hell of a number. And also, you talk about the live gate. I know people in England, a lot of fans, that was an impossible ticket to get. And the secondary market was really robust. You literally had to pay 2, 3, 4 times the amount to actually get into that O2 venue.
That's great. You love to hear that about the sport when you're going, or especially overseas. I know, Doug, you were there recently. Didn't you see? You saw Quigg and Frampton.
Yeah, Quigg Frampton in February this year at Manchester Arena in Manchester, England. And the fight didn't live up to expectations.
But your tweets did, though.
Thank you very
They
much.
always do. They always do, though.
The atmosphere did.
That actually, and Quigg is, he's part of Gallagher's crew. There he is.
He's got to take pictures of Gallagher.
Yeah,
hire him for the Golden Boy social
he's
team.
doing
He's
work.
ready to go.
That's the Gallagher social media team. He's a one-man army. Scott Quigg, former 122-pound belt holder. But although that fight with Frampton didn't live up to expectations, everything that I'd heard about the English crowd, it's so true. I mean,
Guys,
it's amazing, the atmosphere.
If you are Joe Gallagher, who's the jockey for this thoroughbred, you got to use that night as a lesson. I thought the biggest mistake that was made in that fight, because I thought Quigg really came on in the second half, Beto, in football, you don't wait till you're 38-0 down to give your football team a speech. Get on them early.
Unless it's Monday night.
What's it like when you get a call? Honestly, what's the reaction after you get a call that you're fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez?
Just very exciting. But, it's what every boxer in my position is waiting for that call. And when I got it, it was one that, I jumped at, and it's one that, I've been asking for now. Obviously, when I become world champion, they were the names I wanted to be linked with. And then when I got linked with Canelo, I was over the moon.
This Saturday, you have a chance to possibly have the biggest fight of the year. We have no idea what the outcome is going to be. We're going from television and rings to center stage, AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Hundreds and thousands of people are the lights shining down on you. WBO junior middleweight champion defending his crown. Is the pressure getting now? Is it come, or is this just another fight?
It's not. It's more than just another fight. It's a chance to become top of the tree. I beat Canelo. I'm the #1 junior middleweight in the world. So that's what it is for me. That is the ultimate goal for me. As soon as I beat Canelo, I'm the best in the division. So all the pressure. There's no pressure on me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of American press ripped me off before I even stepped foot in the gym. So there's no pressure on me. It's Mexican Independence weekend. So this is all about Canelo. This is all about Canelo working his way towards Triple G. And like I say, it's not going to happen.
What would you like to say right now to everybody watching and to the fight fans that Mexico cheering for, and not just the Mexicans, but to all the fans that are underdogging you, saying that you don't have a chance against Saul Canelo Alvarez? Right now, look into that camera and let all those fans know that are cheering for Canelo what you bring on Saturday and why their thoughts, change those thoughts.
They tune in Saturday. They'll know. They'll see I've come to fight, and when I do come to fight, the style I've got, when I beat Canelo Alvarez, I think all them fans will become fans of Liam Smith. But, the press ripped me off. Like I said last time, you can, go fuck yourselves, because you want to write about me Sunday morning when I beat Canelo. So
you got to love it right there, man. Undefeated WBO junior middleweight champion. And I like his mouth, man. He has a mouth on him, man. Liam Beefy Smith!
So I think he just said,
you guys, thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it this afternoon.
It's a very thick Liverpudlian accent.
Yeah, we need Luis Gutierrez with the translation. As the Liverpool lad, when we're talking to him soon. And you know what? There you see his family, the Fighting Smith brothers.
Yeah, and I think that's a record. See, they have the Lonsdale belt there. That's the oldest belt in boxing. That's basically the British title. And for all four brothers to have won and held that title, I think that made British history. And by the way, that belt, those British belts right there, and I think that's, God, who is it on the fighter?
Which belt? Yeah.
The belts, the ones that's got red and blue in there, and it's gold. That's real gold.
What?
Those belts are gold.
Dipped in gold?
Yeah. No, not dipped in gold. They are made out of gold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then we need to get that belt over here.
Yes, we do, don't we?
Put that on the Golden Boys Snapchat and Instagram, Facebook page, YouTube. Check it out all week long. Christina's doing a good job with it. Luis Gonzalez is doing a good job with it. Panda, Will Wright with his smooth jacket. Christina Gonzalez with the Z.
I think it's John L. Sullivan.
I think that's Omar in front of me. I'm not too sure. I mean, we're waiting for Smith. This is what you call Phil at the Dallas, Texas, home of the Gaylord Resort. And I'm so used to saying casino in Las Vegas, but no, we're not. As you see all the international media, Kieran is showing up. Bernardo Osuna is showing up. Look at it. Look, Steve Kim wastes no time. He goes straight over to Gallagher and starts interviewing him. It's cool, Steve. We don't want to talk to you because we got Liam Smith. The Liverpool lad shows up. How you doing, Liam? Put this on right here. You can talk to us. And how are you feeling right now at this moment?
I'm feeling very good, ready to fight at this moment. I've enjoyed Fight Week over here because it's different for me. I'm fighting abroad, but I'm one of them fighters who I hate Fight Week. It's boring for me, and I'd just rather fight.
Yeah, it's boring for us too. We hate doing all this stuff. Hey, when did you show up to the United States?
I was meant to come Friday, but I didn't come till Sunday because of visa problems. But I'm used to coming to America. I've been to America on numerous occasions. I don't suffer with jet lag or anything like that. So I'm not worried about anything like that. I'm confident.
It's a huge stage for you, and in Canelo Alvarez, you're fighting somebody who, though 25 years old, has that big fight experience. He's been in there with future Hall of Famers like Mayweather and Cotto and Sugar Shane Mosley. So obviously, people perceive this as a huge step up for you. What's your mentality going into a fight where everyone's saying, this dude's at another level. He's at a higher class than you?
I don't knock people and I don't criticize people for saying that, but Canelo Alvarez has had that chance against Shane Mosley. He had that chance against Miguel Cotto. He hasn't had them. I haven't had them chances. This is my chance now. If I sit here next year going into a big fight with yourselves, you'll be talking to me saying, my opponent saying he's been in with Canelo Alvarez, he's been in with somebody else. Canelo's had the chance to step up. I haven't. This is my chance, and like I say, it's my gain really that my chance to step up is against the biggest name out there at the moment. I don't think he's the best fighter out there at the moment. But
is it fair to say this is your proving ground, at least to American fans who haven't 100%. Seen you before?
Yeah, 100%. But I think I come under a little bit of unfair criticism, like I said to yourself. If I came here and was about to fight one of the Charlo twins, Ishe Smith, somebody like that, a decent world level fighter, but not an elite fighter like Canelo, you'd probably say it's a very good fight.
Yeah.
But I'm coming here and I'm fighting the biggest name out here at the moment, so I haven't really had a chance to make a name out here, beating the likes of your Ishe Smith, Vanes, Martinsovian. They're good fighters, but it would have been ideal for me to beat them to make a big name, then fight the big name in the sport. But my first chance out here is against Canelo Alvarez, and it's one that I'll jump at. It's one that I'm massively confident with.
You mentioned you jump at the opportunity to get this fight. It's pay-per-view, main event, a big venue, 40,000 expected. For the United States fan who has never seen you, what is your style?
Believe me when I say I'm coming to fight, and I'm gonna make Canelo fighting party. He doesn't want to fight. Obviously, we all know he's very good and he's got very good variety, but also likes his walks and likes to admire his work when he does. So, what you see is what you get. I'm coming to fight. There's no awkwardness about me. I'm not going to come here and try and nick a points win and try and make it a bad fight. I'm coming here to make it an absolute great fight, and I'm coming here to be victorious.
I was reading that you said that this is your weight, that this is where you've been most comfortable your entire career. This is where you belong, whereas Canelo, he's gone all over the place with his weight. You're not shy about your opinion or throwing your jabs.
Yeah, because I just think I've fought at 154. Every one of my fights, since I won my first title, has been 154. Yeah. Canelo's flitted through 155, and I do think he is a genuine 154, which is why I say it. But going to 155, his body hasn't been under 154 or bang on the limit of 154 since Mayweather. So every fighter will tell you it is hard, and a lot of people, it is only a pound, but a pound when you've already shedded a lot of pounds off is very hard.
Everybody says it's 1 pound, but for fighters it's like no. It's just 1 pound.
Yeah, people think, but on the flip side of that, people are saying to me, he's coming down from middleweight. He's not coming down from middleweight. He's coming down from 155, which is only a pound. And any fighter, that's why I knew the Golovkin fight would not happen, because he's not a 160 fighter. You're not going to get Triple G to 157, and Canelo. If Canelo can make 154, which is what he's got to do to fight me, then he's not a 160. Any fighter who can make 154 is not a 160, and I just think always knew that fight was not going to happen.
And we knew you were taking it, but did Canelo make a mistake taking on you?
Yeah, I think I knew he was going to pick. I knew I was in the running because I knew, I always knew that fight wouldn't happen, and I knew he was going to pick one of the 4 champions at 154, and I think he made a mistake picking me.
Is there anything, technically speaking, that you believe you do better than Canelo does in the ring?
There's things I think I do, and I think I can, gain to my advantages. Yes, and I don't think he's very clever defensively. I don't, but I just think not many people, especially of late, have tried to exploit that. I think Amir Khan did, but Amir and Miguel Cotto done very well against them. But I just think they were too small. Too much smaller men. I think what I aimed at before to you, where Canelo likes his walks and likes to admire them walks, and Amir and I think Miguel Cotto let him do that too much because they were safe then.
Right.
They were safe. They didn't have to engage.
I was going to bring that up. Cotto and Khan didn't try to take it to Canelo. They were trying to box from a safe distance the entire fight. That's obviously not really your fight.
Yeah, no, I think Cotto done very, very well, and I think when you watch the fight again on with no sounds, I think they were very pro Canelo on the commentary team. But I think when you watch it, Cotto does very well, but he's just not big enough. Maybe the youthness, he didn't have that hunger. Sometimes he goes for it and he tries to push Canelo back, but again, he just didn't have it in him to push him back. So he has to go and box a different way. Amir is a back foot fighter. Like I say, I'm not going to come and try and do what Amir done well, because I don't do them things well, and I'm not going to change what I do well, which got me up to this far. I'm not going to come here and try something all of a sudden different.
Liverpool is. Oh, you have another one?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say what you do well. I like the way you gradually close distance. I think you have a really good jab. You defend well with just a high guard. But I think you do your best work when you're in close and you put your combinations together, and particularly your left hook to the body. I think you've broken a lot of guys down. You've won your last 8 fights by knockout round. I think the body attack was a factor in all of those stoppages. How much is your body attack going to be a factor against Canelo?
Can you name many people who've gone for his body?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah. I think Cotto tried a couple, but I'm gonna come for his head and his body, and I'm gonna be there to make him fight. And I've said I'll say it again, that if he doesn't, we don't know what Canelo's gonna come and try and do. He might come the way he did with Angulo and just stand and have a fight. He might box the way he boxed Cotto, but I'll say if he doesn't hurt me and doesn't hurt me early, then he's in for a long, long night, because I get better and better as fights go on, and I just think a lot of factors don't aim Canelo to do that. I think weight could be one of them factors. If the weight is hard for him, he's not going to get better down the stretch. He's going to get worse, and I will draw that out of him if that's the case. The
pay-per-view Saturday, AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. That's where they play American football. But football, it starts with Liverpool, right?
Yes.
That's where it is. Steven Gerrard coming?
He's meant to be, yeah.
Steven Gerrard meant to be here on Saturday. He's definitely going to be here, the main event. There's a camera. Say hello to your people in Liverpool.
Hello, everyone from Liverpool and England making the trip. I hope you have a safe flight coming in. I look forward to seeing you in Dallas.
And we'll see him Saturday night, pay-per-view. Go to goldenboypayperview.com. It'll be Liam Smith, Canelo Alvarez. That's the main event. We'll be back with more on ringtv.com.